we talking about?
Discipleship group.
Oh, all right.
All right, we ready? Are you going to do a little intro music?
Oh! Wait, what is the intro? How does it go?
It's
Cougar Chat. Cougar Chat. It's time for the chat with the Cougars.
Welcome, everyone, to the Lansing Catholic Podcast. I'm Father Joe, the chaplain here.
I'm Mr. Stolpa, Dean of Intellectual Formation.
How are you doing today, Stolpa?
Well, it's Thursday. It's the beginning of March Madness. And so I'm feeling good right now.
We had a pretty exciting St. Patrick's Day. For those of you who maybe were at Kelly's Irish Pub, we may have made an appearance that day. And several...
To be fair, we are off-site on a casual day doing curriculum work. The theology department and the campus ministry team.
Yes. So we had a little lunch break, and it was St. Patty's Day, so of course we went to an Irish place. And tell us about the three exciting things that happened.
If you've ever seen those memes, and Miss Gehle, you can back me up on this one. If you've ever seen those memes that say, like, there's a reason that women live longer than men, and they show a guy standing on a tree limb cutting the tree with a chainsaw or a butter knife or something. So we had something very similar where the gentleman at the bar was hanging a shirt, and he was an older gentleman.
He's trying to hang on the wall.
He was hanging a shirt on a wall, but to get up there, he had to use a ladder. But to get up there even higher, he had to put the ladder on a booth, on the seat of the booth,
yes.
Right? The seat of the booth was very slippery, and so it started to slowly slide toward the edge.
The ladder.
And I'm on the seat as we're kind of sitting in the middle of the bar, and I'm on the seat closest to the booth. And everyone's like, Stolpa, he's going to fall. And I look over and said, haha, yeah, he is. And then they're like, no, really, look. And so I could see the ladder sliding closer and closer to the edge. And so I get up, grab the ladder and steady it, and he yells at me for steadying it.
Yeah,
so
he looked upset at you.
I think I surprised him, man. Like, I think he thought I almost pushed him off.
No, you saved his life.
Yeah.
You moved very fast. I was like, I didn't know Stolpa could move that fast.
Oh.
Wow.
Why couldn't you move that fast at the basketball game?
We won, Father.
So that was the first thing.
What was
else
the
happened?
second thing?
Congressman Tom Barrett showed
Congressman,
up.
United States Representative Tom Barrett came and was schmoozing, and he wanted to get involved with Lansing Catholic in some way. So we're going to work to get him on the podcast and talk about what it's like to be a Catholic in Washington at this time, and maybe speak to our government
He did
class,
not buy us lunch, though.
Well, according to his chief of staff, Trevor, he is not allowed to.
Yeah, there's like rules about that.
They're also saying that he has to report when he gets Christmas presents over $50, so he tells them to just stop giving them presents.
Yeah.
And then what else happened? What else?
What was I feel like there was a third thing. Wasn't there a third thing?
I mean, I don't know if we can talk about
the blessing. That's
yeah.
right. So Father Carl Pung normally does a blessing at this place on St. Patrick's Day.
Kelly's Irish Pub, for those who don't know, and we didn't know either, they say they're the Catholic Irish Pub.
Yeah.
And they're right downtown on Washington Square. And so they came over and said that, hey, usually we have Father Carl give the blessing, but he's out today. So the Father Joe, can you give the blessing?
Yep.
So on this St. Patrick's Day, full of all tables of people drinking their Guinness and green beer, we got everyone's attention, paused the celebration, and Father led them in a lovely Irish prayer.
I have to admit, I wasn't quite sure what to say. I was like, what do you say on St. Patty's Day? I was thinking to myself, it'd be like, Dear Lord, bless these heathens.
Why are you speaking in Irish accent,
May they
Father?
not fall into a drunken stupor.
Yeah, but you're talking like a leprechaun. Like,
You started in the American accent. You slowly.
It really did. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
But no, I did something very nice and PC, and people seem to like it. So.
And also,
good.
that nice table of drinking college fellas bought you a
That's
drink.
right. They got me a drink.
And it was funny because we walked in and we have Father with us in his collar. We have Sister Carol Augustine with us in her habit. And, like, we are just the epitome of
And so it's like the start of a bad joke. A priest, a nun,
joke.
and three theology
And three
teachers
theologians.
walk into a bar.
Yes. And so it was so if you get a chance, if you want to visit Kelly's Irish Pub, they would love to have you.
Yeah, it was great. We also have in the studio today Miss Gehle. Welcome, Sydney.
Hello.
And Miss Jess Gorgan. Welcome, Jess.
Hello.
So both of you help out with the discipleship group on Thursdays.
Yes.
So
well, she leads. I help.
Yes. Well, I mean, Sydney works here, but you
I
are
do.
you are sort
I'm
of like
just
Sydney's been
here.
on here. One of us can't make it, Father. Sydney fills in for one of us.
But Jess is an intern, and you come every Thursday to help with that. So I figured we would talk about that, but first, we need to give our updates
news
for the week. Yes, the news. It's a pretty quiet, normal week, honestly. It's our last week before spring break, so that's exciting.
Spring break, yep.
Got a couple of staff personal retreat days. Mrs. Teetsort will be on Monday. Steve Pohl will be Thursday. We've got OCIA after school on Monday. So for those of you who don't know, we've got 2 students becoming Catholic this year, plus a third who's getting confirmed, so 3 in OCIA, which it's getting pretty close, right? It's all at the Easter Vigil that happens, so certainly keep them in your prayers.
Tuesday is the Feast of the Annunciation, Father.
That's right. It is a solemnity.
Anything else
big
going
feast.
on?
Well, it's also the 10-year anniversary of the dedication of our chapel here at school. So the John Paul the Great Chapel was built and dedicated 10 years ago on the 25th.
Sydney, were you here at the time when it was being built?
I was the first year in the new chapel.
So what did you guys do before the chapel for Mass?
Well, there was a little chapel, like behind the stage.
Mm-hmm.
Previously to where
all the theater stuff is stored?
Yeah, previously to when I had been there. But I never experienced that because when I got here was the first year. So
as a freshman?
Yeah. So we were using the chapel right away. It was great. A huge blessing.
Was there nothing there before that chapel?
Correct.
So there was no mass being held, or was it in the gym?
Well, there was the small chapel that did have Mass, but I think it could
many
only
could it hold?
seat like
12?
30 people. It was pretty small.
I definitely thought that chapel has been there since the school has been built.
No.
I didn't realize that it was
it's much more recent.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know they had all school masses, but I don't think they were very frequent. Like if you go all the way back to the time of Father Joe Krupp, he'd have to come and confirm these details. I think they only had all school mass like maybe a couple times a year, and then they would just do chapel masses, but it was very lightly attended. Oh. We do more mass now and have more people at them.
Yeah.
Praise God for a beautiful chapel as well.
Yeah, it is. It's a huge blessing. Cool. I remember when I first came here, once I knew I was going to be the next chaplain, they took me to the chapel, and I was like, yes, thank you, Lord.
Well, you met 2 random priests at Starbucks yesterday, and you had told them if they ever want to see the most beautiful church in Lansing,
I did.
To come by.
Yeah, and
10 minutes later, they came by.
Yeah.
I stand by that. I still
praise.
think that our chapel is the prettiest worship space in the city of Lansing. I mean, now Resurrection has certainly had a huge upgrade, and now they're a contender, but I would still say that ours is a little better than theirs. But
it's very
no one else comes close.
That is, I suppose, debatable. Now, what's sad is the cathedral used to be gorgeous, but then they tore it all out. And I've seen pictures of what it used to be. They had this big white marble reredos with the Calvary scene and all hand carved, and that's all long gone. But maybe someday they'll bring it back. Bishop, if you're listening, we'd like you to bring it back.
Bishop, if you're listening, I will be surprised.
Hey, he's been on this show.
Yeah, but
he probably doesn't listen now. So anyways, we have a chapel anniversary mass that night at 6:30. So anyone is welcome to come. We've invited all of our parents and students and alumni, and it's going to be great. We're going to have mass, and then Father Gordon Regal is going to be preaching. He's the one who was the chair of the building committee, so he's got lots of insider knowledge on
we
how
have a
the chapel was
podcast
built.
on that one, too, if you want to go back.
That's true. Go
I don't
back to
remember
our
which
old
number
episodes.
it is, but yeah, Father
Go back
Gordon.
to the vault.
Back to the vault.
And then we'll have 2 student testimonies about how the chapel has impacted them. And then also Dr. David Flint, who was in charge of doing all the woodworking in there. They hand-built all the pews, and he built the altar. He's going to say a few words as
I
well.
thought you built those.
I did not build anything in there. The only thing I built was the little wooden box that the sanctuary lamp sits on because it wasn't tall enough.
Didn't you build the things to put the books in?
Oh, you're right. I did build a few other things.
Yeah,
now
those
that you
weren't
mention
originally there. Yeah.
So I did build a missile stand
Podcast
that's on the
is full
altar.
of lies today.
I just forgot. And then also the candle holders. You know the torches that they process in with? Those bases that they stick them in, those are made. They're actually quite nice if you take a closer look at them. And then the book stands in, or the book holders in the pews were taken from St. Kaz. So I didn't make those. We just took them from St. Kaz and installed them here. They happened to fit perfectly, match the color and everything.
Did you ask for them, or did you take...
We snuck in at night and stole. No, we had permission. Father Carl said you can take whatever you want because they were just closing down and giving the pews away. Anyways, that's where those came from. So that's Tuesday. There is a blood drive on Wednesday. Do you give blood?
No.
You don't like noodles?
I actually don't care about needles. I don't want my blood out of my body.
Well, what about people that need it? Don't you want to save lives?
I take the 5th.
What do you do if your
He
nose
saved one the
bleeds?
otve day.
Do you try and...
I did. I've hit my quota. Thank you, Sydney. I've hit my quota.
I got you.
No, I actually don't really have a problem with giving blood. I just don't.
Okay.
Too lazy.
All right. Well, Suit yourself.
If they give me a sandwich for doing it, I'll do it.
That's the best part. You get to go to the snack
They
table.
give you snacks
And the
afterwards.
OJ
Yeah, but it's always-
and the cookies. It's great.
It's like Donald Duck orange juice.
All right.
Apparently.
Great. Moving on. Friday, we have Adoration and Confession as usual. And Saturday the 29th, we take off for the spring break mission trip to Alabama.
Yes.
Sydney and I are going to be on that.
Are you
guys-
driving?
Yes, we are
Yeah.
driving.
Are you driving?
I am driving.
Are you driving, Sydney?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you two doing anything for spring break?
No.
No, nothing. You're probably not on spring break
No, I don't get spring breaks anymore.
because you're an actual adult that has a real job.
You guys have jobs too.
Not real job.
So yes, next week we'll be on spring break, which means there will be no podcast. So you can just wait in eager
You can
anticipation.
go listen to the one with Father Gordon.
Yes, we now have over 100 episodes.
Last
there
week
are
we
all
didn't fail
kinds of
to
things.
say it was 100th episode.
Yeah, I think
How
this
many
is
Cougar
episode.
chats have we had?
Well, about half of that, so like 50 or so.
Something.
Somehow we've
Working
stuck
my way
with
up.
it, and people are still listening.
Father's put up with
Our
me for this
3
long.
listeners.
What we got?
My mom called me yesterday, and she said our last episode was very funny with all the swimmers shaving their legs and all that. She thought that was great. So shout out to my mom. Thanks for the positive feedback. All right, well, let's talk about discipleship group. First of all, Jess, how about you tell us a little bit about yourself? How did you end up becoming an intern at Lansing Catholic?
2 years ago is when I had started being an intern. I came to Lansing in general for campus ministry work through college campus ministry, University Christian Outreach. And through that, I was actually asked to help out here at the high school, a place that I have never been to, had passed by multiple times, didn't know anyone who was in the school. So I agreed and had also found out that actually within UCO, and some of the college students were already helping out for D group, partnering with you, Father Joe, in it. And it was helpful as well, I think, to know some of the other students who were helping out in it. Then after that school year ended, I also had decided to leave the campus ministry work. And then basically, like, the long story is right after that, I spent 2 months in Costa Rica, came back into my hometown of Ann Arbor.
Go Blue.
Dare I say go blue?
Yes, you shall. Go Blue.
Blue for Marquette.
No.
No, blue for Wolverines.
I'm also from Ann Arbor.
I know that, Father. You grew up in a barn. I don't actually care either way.
Yeah, you're not.
Fun fact, I also don't care. I don't keep up with
Yeah, I don't
any
really
of
pay much
it.
attention
It's
either.
the fact that I'm in a city where people do care,
They
and
do.
thus I need to
And
defend
it's a
my
very interesting
home.
thing where, like,
And
the
so-
go blue, the go green
Yeah.
is a
And
very...
it is absolutely delightful that U of M bought Sparrow, and now there's
my
U
gosh.
of
Yes,
M
I was
logos
so happy
all over
about that.
Lansing, and everyone has to wear them because it's uniform. It's
I've
like
been so
excellent.
worried though of any destruction, like property
Vandalism.
destruction. Yes.
They're gonna come paint over them.
Yeah. But it seems to be in good shape right now.
Yeah.
I'll make my story, the end of it, shorter. But basically, I eventually came back to Lansing. I had started attending IHM, and then I think you were, Father Joe, like visiting,
Yeah, I
kind of
was just covering masses there.
priesting. So then,
Priest subbing.
priest subbing.
The discipleship group team is the 3 of us this year. We've had more in the past, but I asked around and tried to get some guys to help out, but I kind of struck out. this
So
year.
you guys have used this term discipleship group. What do you do?
Yeah, so Thursday mornings at 7:30, from like 7:30 to 8:20 or so is like the time slot. And we usually like meet up, start out with like a game. This morning was a real fun game. We played a game with balloons. Got intense. I have a rug burn.
That was
but
not fun
whatever.
for me. I had my
Rugburn.
ears covered the whole time.
It was a lot more intense than I expected. So
It was fun.
I played this game at boys camp years ago. You get a balloon and you tie it to your ankle, and then the other guy gets a balloon, ties it to his ankle, and then it's a duel. Whoever's balloon gets popped first loses. So it sort of turns into like a wrestling match, and was intense. And you got like thrown on the floor. So you went up
Yeah.
against Maddie Martin,
She's a black
who's
belt.
a black belt
And
in
also,
Yeah.
martial
like,
arts.
what am I going to do? Shove her? Like, I didn't want to.
No, she'll block that.
Yeah,
Black
exactly.
Yeah,
belt.
it wouldn't have worked anyway. You could have tried, but she would have blocked.
It was
So-
immediately clear that Maddie was very good at like hand-to-hand
she's
combat. She
good at-
was-
yeah.
So I felt kind of bad.
combat.
I was like, I'm glad I didn't have to fight Maddie because I would have lost.
balloon to balloon combat.
It's all good. I'm all for it. So, anyways, yeah, ended up on the ground, but it's fine. So yeah, usually we start with like some sort of fun game, and then one of us will like have some sort of thing to like teach or topic to talk about, and then we break up into small groups and talk about it. And really it's just like a way to help like walk with the students, disciple the students.
Who leads those small groups then once you break up?
So Jess will lead one, I lead one, Father usually is with the seniors.
So you'll have 3, usually however many small groups per leader. So if you have a 4th one, there'll be 4 kind of thing.
Yeah.
So everyone will have an adult leader.
Well, some of the groups
Yeah.
have like upperclassmen that lead them. So we try to split by
Right.
grade and gender. It's sort of like a mini youth group of sorts. It's mostly meant to be a time of fellowship and then also supporting students that want to go deeper in their faith. And it's something that was here before I came here. So I inherited this, and it's been a great way to connect with students. So we've continued it over the years.
Yeah, but it wasn't here when I was here, and so I was really happy to see when I showed up that like we had filled this kind of gap.
So then when did it start?
I think it started the year right before I came. I know Father Paul started it with Ben Pohl.
What year did you start?
So that would have been 2020, 21. Because you and I both came in 21, 22.
Yeah, so I want to say it started right before that.
Do you generally think you have the same kids every week, or and I guess the question is, if you're a new person who isn't involved, how do you get them to come, and how do you get them to find it not awkward?
I think in general we have like the same core group of kids, but definitely like every time there'll be like 1 or 2 like maybe newcomers or someone who just like comes every once in a while.
Or the game is making such a scene that they're
That-
curious and they come
Yes.
in and
I think
that happens
sometimes
today.
like the noise.
That's how you trap them.
Yeah, they saw the
From
balloon.
the
They're like,
game.
what are
It's
they
not
doing?
a trap.
Yeah. But I think the nice thing about discipleship group is it's not like if you haven't come to one, you can't come to the other. Like they do build on each other because you're always like learning, but it's not like if you haven't come, like you haven't showed up to class for so many days, you're going to be lost.
Right.
Like it's just you can jump in.
It's not like watching Lost either, where you couldn't jump in the middle of the
Right,
season.
exactly.
You can just show up anytime and you
Yeah.
don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Like Lost, the TV show?
Yeah, I was trying to think of something, a serial show where you couldn't just,
story
you
builds
couldn't
on
show
itself.
up in the middle of season 1 of Lost because you'd be like, why, what's going on here? Who are all these people? And unlike, you could watch an episode of Law and Order anytime and you'll know what's going on.
So, Jess, how has it been just participating on, as an intern, coming in just for this one thing here at school? We were here for a year, then you left, and then you came back. I'm just curious what the experience has been like for you.
It's still a great experience. I still love spending time with the students. I think it's also cool to watch them grow together like as peers. 'Cause I think as everything starts sometimes in life, it can be a little bit uneasy or slow, or everyone's kind of unsure a little bit. So I think especially since the start of the school year, it's been really cool to see the students kind of warm up to each other. And I think so too, because I lead the freshmen, and they all have their own backgrounds from where they come from to have entered into high school here. And so it's been a really, just great experience to kind of watch them become more easygoing with one another as they've been experiencing discipleship group as a whole, but then also coming to understand like what small group is and spending time with each other during that period.
It is cool to see the freshmen really go through a transformation pretty quickly, because when they're brand new, they're so shy and nervous and quiet. But then as they get used to things, then you see their personalities kind of come out more, and they just get more settled. So it is cool to watch.
What is the transition like, Ben, for both of you to go from the participants in the small group to the leaders of the small group? Because it probably wasn't that long ago when you were on the other side.
Yeah, I think
Miss Gehle? Sorry.
I think, it's been, like, number one, just a huge gift for me to be able to do that. Because, after I was, like, poured into so much by other people, to be able to come back and do that. And, I do often, because it wasn't that long ago, see myself, like, in the kids and hearing their struggles and their difficulties and being able to kind of walk with them in those is fun, and it's great.
Well, and you've got your office is right there in the library,
Yeah.
and I would say every time I walk by there's always kids in there.
Yeah.
Whether or not they're just trying to escape class,
Whether or not
it
they should
seems
be.
like they
That's
found
good.
somebody, though, that they could go to with either faith-like issues or friends or whatever, so you've made them comfortable in their lives.
Yeah, I hope so. And we talk about all kinds of stuff,
Sure.
But it's also been a really humbling experience, I think, too, to like know that you have all of these kids coming to your office and like asking you for advice or asking you questions, and they like take your advice and they listen to you. So, it's a gift, but it's definitely like one of those things that I'm like, wow, like this is a gift and it's humbling and it's great. So.
Well, thanks for coming in, ladies. Jess, I'm so glad that you're a part of the discipleship group team because it's a lot of students. We get like 30 to 40 every week, and
it's awesome.
It's good to have another adult there willing to invest in them.
Very grateful to be a part of it.
Well, thanks for listening, everybody. Be sure to tune in, not next week because we won't be here, but the week after that. Have a great spring break if you're going on one. And I threw off how I end this. Now I'm out of sync.
I'm Father Joe.
I'm Father Joe.
And I'm Mr. Stolpa.
I'm Miss Gehle.
And I'm Jess.
And we'll see you next time.
Maybe.
Except we're not going to see you because it's a podcast.
Well, unless you're watching on News Channel 10.
What should I say instead of that? We'll listen to you next time.
Heroes next.